So next, man, these NBA players, bro. Oh my God, they are getting absolutely paid, bro. Like Paolo Banchero is about to go into what his third year in the NBA. So yeah, here's the next news. Paolo Banchero signs a 5-year max extension with the Magic worth up to $287 million. So this is official, man. It locks in Paolo Banchero as the Magic's franchise player, man. Like, this is crazy. 5-year, $287 million contract. Bro, these new NBA contracts are ballistic, bro. This guy's getting $250 million over 5 years. And the crazy part about this is that this dude, when his contract expires, which will be probably 2025, 2030, 2031, this dude, if he continues to ball out, will be able to sign another max extension. And by the time that new CBA takes into effect, that new max extension will probably be worth like 350, might even be worth $400 million, bro. That is absolutely crazy. So let's go into this. So this happened, I believe, a couple days ago. Was this yesterday that it happened? I actually don't remember. Anyways, Paolo Banchero signs a 5-year max extension with the Magic worth up to $287 million. The Paolo Banchero, NBA All-Star, have agreed on a maximum contract extension that could be worth as much as $287 million over 5 seasons. Bruh, this is absolutely crazy. So Paolo Banchero has been an absolute phenom this entire year, man. He's been absolutely one of the best players in the NBA, especially in the East this entire season. And I think the fact that the Orlando Magic are starting to bolster up their team and make some moves, they see the fact that the Indiana Pacers, that Tyrese Halliburton is injured. They see that the Boston Celtics are getting broken up, and they see that that the Miami Heat are done pretty much. So, and Philadelphia, the thing with Philadelphia 76ers is that they're kind of unknown, right? We don't really know what's going to happen with the Philadelphia 76ers. They're always kind of a question mark because of Joel Embiid's history with injuries. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with Paul George as well. So the Philadelphia 76ers are always kind of a question mark. So the Orlando Magic, I think, are looking at the East right now, seeing how wide open it is, and they're making moves, man. Like, so for them to sign Paolo Banchero, to lock him in for a max contract extension, and then to try to build around him, I think it's a smart move. So the Paolo averaged 25.9 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists last season, leading the Magic to the first round of the playoffs, where obviously they lost to the defending champions, the Boston Celtics. But I think it's good for them. This is, I believe the first time that the Orlando Magic made it back to the playoffs in quite some time. And with your main man, Paolo, like finally getting to the playoffs, getting that playoff experience, I think that's only beneficial for him. As he continues to work in his young career, I think he's definitely going to blossom, and it's going to, I can definitely see them going maybe to the second round next season, especially with how depleted the East is going to be looking next season. So Paolo Banchero averaged 29, 8, and 4 in that series in the Boston Celtics, which is pretty solid, man. It's almost 30 points per game. This guy almost averaged a double-double pretty much in that series against the Boston Celtics. So, you know, when you got your star player who's only in his third year averaging a double-double against the Boston Celtics, essentially you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, we just need to get our guy some help. We got our guy. We just need to get him some help. And then he also had an oblique injury as well, too, so he missed less than 65 games. But yeah, if I'm Orlando Magic, that's solid. They also, Orlando Magic, earlier last year, they signed Franz Wagner to a 5-year max contract extension as well, too. So they're locking in all their main dudes. They locked in Franz Wagner for a 5-year, $224 million contract that could go all the way up to $269 million if he makes all NBA. And then you got Paolo Banchero, locking in this 5-year, $287 million contract as well, too. So you got all these guys on the Orlando Magic. They're locking these guys in. They made the trade as well, too, earlier this year, where the Grizzlies or the Orlando Magic traded for Desmond Bane for Caldwell Pope. So they're trying to get more defense on their team. They're trying to be more well-rounded, and they're really trying to make it to that next step. Now, with all the moves they made in the depleted East, do I see these guys going to the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't think so. I think they'll definitely have a solid series, a solid season. And I think they'll definitely be able to finish top 5 and potentially get to the second round of the playoffs. But I think that's an improvement, man. If you can go from the first round of the playoffs early exit against the defending champions and still put up the double-double if you're Paolo Banchero, and then potentially make a couple moves to be able to make your team just a little bit better bit by bit. I don't see any issues with that. I think that the Orlando Magic, like for what they're doing now, I think they're doing an extremely good job. And honestly, Orlando Magic, bro, you got to give them credit, man. They're actually a pretty well ran franchise for the most part. I don't really have any issues with Orlando Magic, and they always seem to be able to draft really well as well. Orlando Magic, every generation they always have a star. You know what I mean? Whether it was Shaquille O'Neal when he first got drafted to Orlando Magic, and they had Dwight Howard after that, and now it looks like they got their new star in Paolo Banchero, man. So Orlando Magic, bro, even though they're like a little bit more of an underrated, franchise, I don't think they've won a championship yet, if I'm not mistaken. But these guys are definitely a well-run franchise, and they know how to draft players. Because, you know, you got your main two guys here, Franz Wagner and as well as Paolo Banchero as well too. You see them making moves as well. But this also kind of ties in to some of the other stuff as well too. Like, if we look at some of these new up-and-coming players, bro, these guys are getting absolutely paid, bro. Like, look at this shit right here. Look at this shit right here. So, obviously, this is Franz Wagner contract, the 5-year, $224 million contract. You got Paolo Banchero, the 5-year, $287 million contract. Cade Cunningham signed as well too. I believe it was after this season he signed as well. So Cade Cunningham's contract, 5-year, $269 million contract. And then obviously we got Anthony Edwards, the first YN who signed, 5-year, $244 million. So these NBA contracts, bro, are getting absolutely out of control. These NBA players, if you can prove yourself, and bro, this is why if I'm an NBA player right now, bro, if I'm in any sport, I want to be in the NBA, bro. If you're good enough to be able to make it, bro, just bust your ass, because you become a star in the NBA now, bro. By the time your career is done, you're guaranteed to make at least $500 million. At least. Because this guy here, Anthony Edwards, this is his first max contract. But these players, if they take care of themselves and they continue to be healthy, they're going to have 2 or 3 max contracts throughout their career. And the NBA CBA is only going to go up. Because the NBA CBA, I believe, is going to be renegotiated in 2031. And let me tell y'all something. This is a secret that most people don't know. So Nielsen SoundScan, which is essentially how they look at the ratings, the viewership for all of the different sports, all the different TV, whatever like that. So Nielsen is actually changing how they credit or how they count all views on all those different things. So now they're even having tablets being in there. They're having computers, whatever like that. All the different devices that people watch sports or whatever on. Every single view now is being counted differently. And what that means for every single sport and every single program is that the viewership numbers are going to be going up. So everybody who's talking about how bad the ratings are for the NBA or whatever like that, well, all of that is going to change once Nielsen changes how they view, how they record the viewership. All of the ratings for the NFL, NBA, all sports are going up. And when those rating numbers go up and the NBA has to come back to the table to be able to renegotiate all of the media deals with CBS or Amazon, whatever like that, that means the price for those media deals goes up. So what that means essentially is that in 2030, by the time that new media deal is negotiated for the NBA, these player contracts are going to be even higher than they are now, especially if viewership is higher based on the way they record all the new viewership. So everybody complaining about NBA ratings, this NBA ratings or that, I guarantee you, and you heard it here first, as soon as they change how they record those viewership ratings, the NBA ratings are going to skyrocket. Not only that, the NBA player contracts are going to skyrocket because they're going to be able to more accurately record how they're getting the viewership and where they're getting it from. So you heard it here first, man. But I'm telling you right now, bro, these NBA contracts are going to look like baby food compared to 2030 when the NBA renegotiates. But same with NFL contracts, every other sport as well too. As long as the sport is extremely popular, you are going to see these contracts get out of control. And I do think that we will see a day where there's an NBA player who makes over $100 million before taxes a year. And right now we're getting close to that. We're going to get into that as well too, because SGA also re-signed on his contract as well. But yeah, man, this right here is absolutely crazy how these young players 2 or 3 years in the league, maybe even 4 years in the league, are signing max contracts that are just absolutely earth shattering and record breaking, bro. Like, we're gonna get to the point now where some of these players are making more contracts than entire sports. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we look at something like the CFL in Canada, like these players' contracts with one player in the NBA, one max player, they're making more money just themselves alone than the entirety of the CFL or a league or a smaller league around the world. But yeah,